So once again, we need to create this virtual machines the same way. We call this one SRV01 as they ask us. And it will be link clone, and don't forget to change the MAC address. And the next one will be I'll create the same for server 02. So here it is. I have the two servers. I just cloned them, and I could start them right away, right? So no problem for this. I could start server 01, then I could start server 02. I'll follow what the document shows. Okay, whatever they ask me to install, I will do. I'll log in as root, and afterwards I will. Okay, I'm logging now. The next thing what I need to do is to install whatever they're asking me to install. Well, to be able to install it though, don't forget I need to be able to get an IP address. So let's check if we have an IP address here. And as you see, it has been automatically done. So basically what I did, I haven't checked before. So if you need to change it while it's working, the way to be done properly, you see when I go machine settings, I'm going to see that my network is not in the appropriate network. It's in NAT network. How I know this? Well, I see the IP address here and I know right away. So it's part of 10.02.16, which is the default one on the NAT network. So what you need to do first is to come here before you change it. That's the way you do it to be done properly. And sometimes it won't work, but most of the time it might work. So you open it here. You open actually the wired connection, the network. So you go to the network, and then you disconnect the network. You stop the network, then you come here to the machine, and you change the network adapter. So you change from NAT network, you go to host only. And need to be on the same network as the other machines, I need to come here. Okay. Then the next thing before I started it, I'm gonna go and check if eventually, you see now it's not accessible actually. Well, it says automatic, that's a good thing. The other thing, if you remember, I need to check is connect automatically to be checked here. And I'm gonna allow that, I'm gonna start it back now. And I'm gonna go and check if there is an IP address. And as you see now, it's taking the next IP address. Well, it's a server, that's not a good thing. It's a DNS server, one of the most important machines in my network. Well, what I'll do actually like this, 192.168. I'll do the IP address they're asking me to be there, which for the server 01 would be indeed, let me just open the first presentation. That would be the IP address, the net mask will be 24. The gateway will be my firewall, 192.168.10.1. And the DNS, it will be itself. So there will be no more 8.8.8.8, right? This guy will be itself. So I'm gonna say here 192.168.10.11. And because there will be another one, the server 02, I'll put the other IP address there as well. And it says here separate IP addresses with commas, so I'm going to put a comma, and I'll put 192.168.10.12. Now, as soon as I apply this, I will realize, first thing I need to shut down the network for a sec, I need to start it back. I will realize now that I won't have any more, I'll ping Google, and I'll see that I cannot ping it anymore. And this is because there is no DNS server. This guy will be DNS server, but it is not yet. We need to install the bind, okay, on it. We need to do some settings, and afterwards it will start resolving. So that's why it says name or servers not known. But if I do ping 8.8.8.8, as you see, without any problems, I'm pinging the outside world, okay? That's because, you know, all the other things are done properly, right? The firewall is configured and all the other things. So what I need at the moment is a DNS server. If I choose now as a DNS server 8.8.8 or 9.9.9.9, here it is, I could ping 9.9.9.9 as well, no problem. So if I choose some of these guys, it will start working right away. But I don't want this. I would like everybody in my network to be able to resolve IP addresses from this funny guy here. Okay. Now there is a very nice command In Windows, it's called NSLOOKUP. Here it's called dig. Okay, and if you put, it will tell you what will be the DNS server, what's the IP address of the DNS server, and it will also tell you if it's able to resolve this thing. We know it won't be able. When I click enter, dig command will fail. It won't show me anything because at the moment the DNS server, this guy, it is not yet a DNS server. Okay, it doesn't know how to resolve this. We need to teach him how to do this. Okay, that's what we do in this exercise. Any questions, guys? Yeah, this is the reply. It doesn't know what's going on. Okay, it is not really in. It doesn't really know what's going on. What's going on here? So we're installing all of these tools. Once again, these are the tools. These are the tools we're installing. We already did this. The next thing we'll need to do is just following the documentation. I will install the bind. Okay, that's the server itself. Here it is. Because it, like the DHCP server, it comes with pre-installed. It comes with pre-installed file inside. We would like to do a backup of this file, so that's why we do the cp command here, which I'm gonna copy and paste. So we actually make a copy of the original named.conf. That's the most important file. That's the server itself, the DNS server. And then we will go and we will start configuring the nameconf file. Here it is. Now, if you would like to see the number of the rows when you're using Vim, you could do. Now, you need to know about Vim two things now. First thing is that there are two modes, generally two modes. One is the command mode. You're in this mode as soon as you enter it. You see, there is nothing. And if I try to write down something, it doesn't actually write down anything. Okay? Now, it just executes commands. So if I would like to execute a command here, I need to put colon, most of the time colon. I might do / or exclamation mark or something else, but colon is the most important thing. We need to remember I need to say something now. So I need to say a command, set number, empty space number. When I do this command, it will show me the row numbers. Okay. Now, if I would like to go to a specific row, you see my cursor is blinking here on the top. If I would like to send it to, let's say, to row number 21. Okay. So what I need to do is to click again column and to put 21. Okay. And as you see, the cursor just moved to the name to the 21. Now, if I do Shift capital G, if I do Shift and G, it will go to the end of the document. Okay. If I do G twice, it will go to the top. So G, the G. I would like to go out of this document without saving it. The command is :Q. :Q for quit, right? And I'm gonna quit the document. So if I go back to the document and if I change something here, and I'm sorry, so if I change it and if I would like to save, if I would like to go without saving again, if I do Q now, you see, I'm sorry, if I do now Q again, it won't work. It will say, you know, you did something, you need either to save it or you specifically would like to say you don't want to save it. Okay, so what I need to do now is to do, if I don't want to save it, is to say Q for quit, and I need to say bank or, exclamation point, but it's known as bank. So I need to say bank, which says, okay, go outside without any further comments. I mean, force to go outside. So that's what it is. Okay. So these are two commands you need to remember. If I would like to save whatever I do without writing down colon and something, I could do Shift ZZ. So capital Z twice. And I'm out and the document is saved now, okay? Or the command, which I guess it's easy to remember, is :WQ. So, which means write and quit. And I'm outside. And basically, this is all you need to know for now for the command mode of Vim. Now, something you need to do also is to enter some stuff here because they will ask you to do. So what you need to do for enter is to click I. Okay? When I click I, you see the command mode is not anymore a command mode. Now it's a part of the insert mode. So that means I could start doing, it's an edit mode. I could start editing the document. So when you see insert, be careful what you're doing, guys, because everything what you're gonna do will be right away doing something. And in these documents, in this configuration file, any dot, any semicolon, colon is very, very, very important. The indentation, when you see indentation, it is not done just for beauty. It is done because it's supposed to be identical. Okay, so be sure you will do exactly it is shown. Okay, now they show you that you need to do some editing on some of the lines. So I'll do escape to go out of the insert mode, to go back to the command mode. So that's how I go in between modes. Escape, the escape key will go out of the mode where I am. So I'll do colon, and I'll say 13 because they want me to go to the 13 line, and I'm gonna go where it says listen on port 53.127.0.0.1. They ask us to change 127.0.0.1 to any. So I'll click I now. I'm gonna move with the right arrow. I'll go here. Very important, the semicolons, they're supposed to be there. You see there are empty space. That's very important too. So be sure everything what you touch it very, very carefully, because otherwise you just delete this empty space and it will give you error after this. Okay, so I'll go here and I'll do whatever they say. I'm going to remove this and I'll say here any, as they ask us. Then I'll go to with the arrow down. I'll go to the next one where they say listen on that's for IP version 6. I'm just going to delete this as they say, and I'll say none. Notice once again the semicolon. Very careful with this. And then I'm going to go to row 21. Well, I'll say escape, and I'll do colon 21. And here it is. It says hello query, localhost. I'll say I to get back to the insert mode. I'll go to localhost, and I'm going to add as they asking me here. So you see what they do. You do empty space, and then you put 192.168.10.0.24. So basically what you allow the DNS server to listen on the port 53. That's that's the port which the DNS server works on. Most of the time it's working on the UDP, but sometimes it's using TCP. So most of the time when you need to implement this on the firewall and something like that, it is better actually to use both TCP and UDP for the DNS servers. Although sometimes you're going to see only UDP. Okay, but from my experience, it's better to use both. Now, don't forget here to put the semicolon again. So you have an empty space, then you put whatever they're asking you. That's the networking address of our internal network, and then again semicolon, and this empty space is supposed to be here. So I'm taking a lot of time for this just to emphasize enough. I cannot emphasize enough how much this is important to be done properly. Okay, so that's why I'm taking this time. Okay, then I'm gonna save it. So I'll click escape to go out. You see I'm still in insert mode. So I need to go out of this mode, escape. Then I'll click colon, and I'll say WQ, which means right and quit. I'm gonna save it and I'm gonna quit it. Here it is. Okay, and I'm gonna proceed with the phase 4, which is on the chapter 4 at the end of it. I'm gonna use a command which will validate whatever I did is okay. So it will check for errors. And if there are errors, it will make, no, there is no errors, that's fine. Okay? If you would like to see more information, as you see, you could repeat the same command, and you could put here -p, and it will give you much, much more information, which one is which one. Okay? So for now, we're going to skip this, and we'll go further. Okay? There is another option, which is the Z option. For now, we're going to skip all of this. Now, we did this check. If we haven't done it, when we do this, when we start and enable this one, it will actually proceed error if we don't check it. So we could skip the check, but if there is something wrong, it will give us an error here now. So and if you remember to start and to enable it from the start, I need to do system ctl enable -- now, and the name of the service or the daemon is named. Okay, I'll click enter, and here it is. And if I would like to check the status, very easy. Voila, here it is. Any questions, guys? Configuration. So I need to do the firewall configuration. Now, to do the firewall configuration, I first need to have the firewall itself here. Remember, I haven't started. It's a new clone machine. So I need to start. So let's check the status again of IP tables first. It's supposed to be, there is no such service. That's okay. Let's check now firewall D. And you see it's not on, so we need to say here, enable now. That's because I never started this machine before, right? Here it is, and I could check the status again. Now it's okay. Let's check. That's very important always to check if it's stopped. My major machine is stopped, so the cloning is supposed to be. But I see Linux, if it's working. If it's not disabled, if it's enabled, it's a problem. You need to disable. Otherwise, you need to know the commands to allow every one service as we do now to allow to propagate through this one too. Okay. So the next thing we need to do now is to make to do the zones as we did before. So let's go a little bit below and let's check the default zone again. Always do it. It's a good practice, you guys, to do it in sequence. So let's copy and paste this one. Oops. So just always correct this error. It's a public. Now we need to change to the active zone. We need to check the active zone. So get active zones. It will show the public and the interface which is in charge. The next thing we need to do is just to say the zone which we actually want to use, right? So we need to use the zone internal. Okay, so we will copy and put, and we need to do it permanently, of course. So I'm gonna copy and paste. Now don't forget the interface is supposed to be changed, EMP0S3. It is shown what's the interface here in the top, right? So you could actually copy it. It's a zone internal, and you allowed it permanently. Here it is. So the DNS will be now allowed through the firewall. That's all what you need to do. Well, it's not all. You need now to say that you allowed it through the DNS to go through this with this command, firewall CMD, permanently to be allowed. In the zone internal, you need to add the service DNS, which is allowed to go through the firewall. That's all. Okay, and don't forget the most important thing: when you do some stuff with the firewall, of course, you need to reload the firewall after this. Okay, and it is done. Okay, now we need to modify the DNS client information. Now, that's what they ask us to do. So this guy's supposed to be working now. So I'll come here and I will go here and check all of this. I'll remove it and I'll put 127.0.0.1. That's another way to say this is the DNS server. We say I'm the DNS server. That's what they say. I could put the IP address itself as well. Okay, 127.0.0.1 is better. They show it to you how to. They explain it to you how to do it there. So I'll say apply. I need to stop and start it back. They show it to you how to do the command the system CTL restart network. You could do exactly what I do here. You could do it on the command line, right? And now if I do cat etc resolve.conf, I'll see that the name server is this server itself. Now, let's check it. Let's check if it works. The easiest way to check it is with the dig command. Here it is. Okay, it says that my domain name server is this one. And as you see now, it's finding out all the Google. Here it is, the Google. It resolved the Google to this IP address. And as you see, it resolves also to It finding out also the name servers of Google. These are all name servers, and as you see, these are IP addresses here. That's IP version 6 addresses, which actually are related to Google itself. Now, what I could do next is to start again my client, and I'll change. First, actually, what I'll do, I'll go to my firewall. I'll go to my firewall, and I'm gonna change here the DNS server, which is on my DHCP settings. I'm gonna change the DNS server. So I'm gonna go to the DHCP daemon. I need to do it on the file dhcpd.conf, and I'm gonna need to come here and to change the domain name server not to be anymore this one. I could leave it as a second one, no problem. So if the first one for any reason doesn't work, this one will take care, no problem. I'll click I here, so to be able to insert, and I'll put 192.168.10. I think was 11. What was our IP address here, guys? It is 192.11. So we'll put this one as our DNS server, the primary DNS server. So 192.168.10.11. I'll say comma here, and I'll save it now. I don't need to say comma, I guess. It's an empty space. WQ. Now I need to reset. I need to restart the DHCPD. So it's to take place. So system ctl restart DHCPD. Now you see it's giving me an error, and I said the errors could be checked with status. I know what's the error, but just to show it to you, -L. Okay, and now it will tell you that there is an error somewhere in the script. So what I need to do is to open the script again, and I need to come here, and actually I need to choose. I need to say I, delete, and I need to put a comma. I'll say escape, WQ. I'll try to restart now the server again, and this time there is no problem with the restart of the server. And now what I need to do here is to restart my network again on my clients, actually, when I start the client, because it's taking access from it has the DHCP configured. It will take the new DNS server, and actually it will resolve the name. When we do the dig command, you're gonna see it's resolving the name there using the DNS server we just have created. Okay, and there is also we could do here the T-Shark. So we to see, let's start the T-Shark. It's a good idea. So let's copy this command here, so to see what's going on. So we to see when the request will start. Okay, now it's running, and as soon as this computer comes and it starts looking for something, we might see here changing. It's starting because this guy starts doing some stuff. Okay, it starts resolving names. Okay, here it is, and it shows exactly what's going on here. Right, you have the so my client is on. What I'll do next, I'll open the terminal. I'll check my IP address. So you see now what's going on that side, right? It's the T-Shark starts finding. I mean, it's going crazy, right? So here's my IP address. That's the command we use to find out the IP address. The loopback is always there, if you remember. That's the 192.168.10.200. If I would like to see my default gateway, remember the command is IPR. And here's my default gateway, 192.168.10.1, as I expect. And if I would like to see my DNS server, cat etc resolve.com. Here it is. So I see my first DNS server is the 1011, this guy here on the left side, which is doing funny stuff at the moment. And if it doesn't work, then it's this guy. And the last thing what I need to do is to do dig google.com. So to see and you see this guy goes again, starts getting crazy. You see, this is the IP address, and you see that's exactly the request which my dig command did, right? It shows all of this thing here. Okay, so basically here it is. It shows that my DNS server is 192.168.10.11, this guy on the left side, server 01, and it knows, because of this server, it knows that the IP address of google.com is this one. And the T-Shark actually shows us that exactly that's what happened. Okay, so that would be